Hello, welcome back again. So now we are going to talk about bioenergetic testing and what we commonly use here at the clinic. Most people are familiar more with uh, chemistry-based testing when you go to your doctor and they do some type of blood test or hormone panel or saliva. Here we use a different approach. We use bioenergetic testing. And if you saw the previous training on what is bioenergetics and biophysics, you have maybe a better understanding on why we would want to use this. So the first thing we get to is this. Remember, we talked about this last time. This is the reason why we want to use bioenergetic testing, because we can test from this level, the electromagnetic informational level, all the way down to level 7. Whereas modern medicine can really only test these levels here that are physical. And if you have a problem on one of these levels, maybe they can identify it. But if the problem is coming from the body's energetic and software that's messing up these other levels, they are only really looking at symptom level. Even in the holistic health field, when people are doing blood panels, they could only still be looking at the symptom and not the actual cause. Bioenergetic testing, what is it? More than 70% of patients who visit any general practice are suffering from what is known as functional disturbance. In simple terms, a functional disturbance occurs when no specific tissue or organ damage can be identified by conventional lab work or traditional pathological diagnostic testing. However, the patient continues to experience multiple symptoms where traditional approaches fall short. Bioenergetic testing offers a new perspective, effectively utilizing your body's own energy with technology of bioenergetic testing. So we get to ask the body through a form of biofeedback using energetic signatures. Remember, everything has its own specific signature. We talked about that the last time, to find out what is causing problems to the body, what's stressing the body, what's weakening the body, what's going to help strengthen the body. All those things we can find out by specifically communicating with your body. Many people can benefit greatly from the insight obtained through bioenergetic testing. This type of testing has been known as MSA testing. And originally MSA was a meridian stress assessment, originally started by Dr. Voll, which we're going to talk about. It's gotten a lot more sophisticated now. What is biofeedback? Well, do you know there's biofeedback loops in your body? So when someone says, well, biofeedback is bad, well, that depends on the person's definition. If we're going right to understanding the creation and how the body is designed with these biofeedback loops. A feedback loop is a biological occurrence wherein the output of a system amplifies the system, which is called positive feedback, or inhibits the system, negative feedback. Guess what? That's how a polygraph test works. They ask a person a true and false question, and subconsciously, there's a positive signal or a negative signal that's released from the brain that they're recording, whether they're telling the truth or telling a lie. And in the body, we have the same thing. You have all these processes in the body, your body temperature's changing, everything in the body changes with temperature or hormones, or you step on a nail or you touch something hot. Your body has to receive the information and send the information to the brain and back to tell the body what to do. Why? Because the body wants to maintain homeostasis. That means balance. If your hand's on something really hot, you need to know to move your hand so you don't burn it off. If your body temperature goes way up, your body needs to know and send the messages to the proper systems to bring it back down. So that is biofeedback built into the body. So with energetic testing, all we're doing is using that same concept to communicate with the body, give it a stimulus through energetic signature, and find out the body's response. Good, bad, indifferent. How about energy pathways? We've heard of Chinese medicine and all this stuff. They have been proven. Dr. Voll, back in the 50s, you can see his birth date here, in the 50s was when he was doing research, and he decided to use something like an ohm meter, which measures resistance, to measure the acupuncture points. And of course, all acupuncture points had 100 times more resistance than non-points. Now, anyone who's scientific minded or inquisitive will go, well, that's really interesting. 100 times more resistance at acupuncture points versus a non-acupuncture point. There's obviously something there. And then they went further with Dr. Voll and Dr. Jean Claude, where they injected radioactive isotopes. That's the stuff that allows people or doctors, scientists to see through the body. They injected them into acupuncture points, and the radioactive isotopes started flowing along that channel. And they traced these throughout the body and found out that acupuncture was 95 to 80, or 80 to 95% accurate, somewhere in that range. I think they put it in the high 90s. I can't really actually remember what the stat was, but it was in the high 90s. And of course, they identified more points and a couple other slightly different pathways than traditional Chinese medicine. And this is a picture of when they injected it into a non-point. Guess what? Went nowhere. It dissipated. So that kind of evidence really proves that, yes, we do have these energy channels in the body. Now, the energy channels in the body are the hardwired wires of the body that allow information and frequency to be communicated throughout the body through an actual pathway or channel. And then you have wireless communication that takes place in your body through wireless cellular communication, like a cell phone. Where do you think they came up with cell phones? Because a lot of the top scientists know that cells do communicate wirelessly through frequency and signature communication. So you have a hardwired and a wireless. Now, most testing is going to be based on this chart at the top. That is called the original Voll chart, where he figured out that all tissues that were healthy in the body exhibited this range between 45 and 50, 50 being perfectly balanced and at perfect homeostasis. And when the body started going into phase 1 of stress, you have stress, but your body maintains balance. Phase 2 of stress is now where your body's overworking, hyperactivity, inflammation, which is why it's red, and is becoming more and more stressed. And it can go from 56 all the way up to 100. Now, the body can only handle so much of this until it can't take anymore, and it goes down to phase 3. This is low cellular energy, low energy, lack of flow, weakened, exhaustion phase. And that's not what we want, because when the cell energy is too low, the cell won't even function. Here you can function, but there's a lot of stress and problems. When you get down to this level, the cells are slowly turning off because the body is using the energy somewhere else. And so usually less important organs are going to get slowly turned off to supply energy to the more important. So this is a range that we use in a lot of our energetic testing to see where your organs are or how much a substance weakens or stresses the body, or if something can bring it back to balance. Okay, so if you're really weak over here and we can find something that brings you back to 50, we did a good job. Okay, so that's what we want. And then there's these guidelines, which I'm not going to bore you with. It gets really complicated, but the key to this with energetic testing is in energetic testing, if you remember that first chart, we can test on multiple levels, not just the energy level, but on all physical levels. And when an energetic signature shows up, it then gives us a dilution. The importance of a dilution in this type of testing is it tells us if something's physically present that they would find in a lab work, or whether or not something was just past contact, your body still has a frequency memory of it, but it's not currently present in the body. And that's very important for us to know. We want to know what's physically still there and what's not. However, your body has a software system. So items in the body that your body still has a memory of that's not physically there can still be interfering with the communication in the body. Remember we talked in, I think, the last lecture about incoherence. So even things in the body that are energetic that aren't physically there can be causing incoherence. So we still want to get those erased from the tissues so they're not causing a problem. These ones are physically here in the body, so we probably need to detox them or kill it, or depending on what it is. So this is how energetic testing works. And we talked about this the last time. We're using constructive or destructive interference. We're using a form of biofeedback. We're either sending energetic signatures to the body and asking a question, is this good or bad? Or we're scanning for energetic signatures in the body. And if we find this signature for mercury, we know you have mercury. If we find the signature for a parasite or a fungus, we know you have that. And then we're asking the body what remedies, both physical and energetic, can balance by using constructive or destructive interference. And that is how bioenergetic testing works and what it is and why it's so important that we use something that can test you at the causal level to find out what your real cause is. Because most of you have probably experienced going to multiple medical doctors, maybe even holistic practitioners, and they can't figure out what the problem is. And they're really not testing to find out what your body needs and what you can handle. We can go to any health food store and pick out 1,000 supplements that sound good, but your body is unique, it's different, it has a unique need, and half of those supplements might not even be good for you. It doesn't mean the product's bad, it means the product's not right for you. So this is why we need a type of testing that can get to the root cause and tell us, instead of us coming up with our own bias or opinion on, well, we think this product's the best. No, what product is the best for you? What really is causing your body the problems? Let's identify it and get to the root. And that's why we use bioenergetic testing. Thanks for listening. Hope this was informative, and we will see you at the next training. Shalom.